So I'm really excited about Bill. I got a call, I guess it was like 8 months ago. It was like a long time ago from the minister from Hilton Head. And Justin said to me, I've got this guy who's at Hilton Head part of the time, and he has an unbelievable message, and I think your church would really love him. There's only one problem. He's going to LA and he's going to be gone for the next 6 months or whatever. So you can have him, but you can't have him until January. So I love when people do that, right? Here's something really good, but you can't have it now. So anyway, and so I spoke to Bill, and it seemed like it was so long in the future when we set up the date. I thought, oh, that's so far away. And here we are in January, and I'm not going to tell you his story. I do know something about it, but it's really awe-inspiring. And so I would like us all to give a big Unity of Savannah welcome to Bill Roper.
Thank you, Reverend Arlene. Good morning, Unity of Savannah. Good morning. Oh, it's a marvelous day here in the Southland. Nice, sunny, not too cold. Today my topic is the power within. And you're all probably wondering, what do I know about the power within? I know quite a lot, actually. For as long as I can remember, I've always had this knowing, what I call an inner knowing, that everything I ever needed was always available to me. I could overcome any adversity, do anything I needed to do. It was just a knowing that I had. Well, this knowing was put to a real test when I found myself in the killing fields of Vietnam. During the Tet Offensive, I was thrown from a jeep. My head struck the ground with such force, my brain began to swell uncontrollably. I was on death's doorstep. But lucky for me, I was also close to the 24th Evacuation Hospital in South Vietnam. And within 20 minutes of a devastating traumatic brain injury, I was in the ER of the 24th Evacuation Hospital. And there was a fine neurosurgeon on hand, Dr. Floyd Robinson. He was a young second lieutenant. He took me immediately to surgery, where he drilled holes in my head. Frontal burr holes, parental burr holes, and a right subtemporal decompression about the size of a nickel. These holes allowed this pressure to dissipate, the pressure that had built up from the contusion to my right temporal lobe of my brain, and the swelling and the blood loss created this enormous intracranial pressure that was about to end my life. But thanks to Dr. Robinson, I lived. I had no idea about any of this for a prolonged period of time because I was in a coma. I lapsed out of the coma a few times, but they kept me in a medically induced coma so that my brain could heal. And by the time I realized what was wrong with my body, I was in Walter Reed Army Hospital in Washington, D.C. Had no clue how I got there. My family was there, my brother, sister, mother, father, and my girlfriend. And my girlfriend shocked me when she said, "Billy, look who's here. It's Walter." Well, that was a real shock because the last thing I remembered about anything was standing having my picture taken with Walter. Walter was a friend of mine from high school. He was in the 101st Airborne, and he was in a firefight, and he was shot down through his cheek, through his neck, out his back, and he was one hurt puppy. And I was visiting Walter on a daily basis as the hospital was adjacent to my unit. I was making sure all of Walter's needs were met, and I was keeping his family appraised of the situation. Now I'm in the hospital with Walter. What's up with this? Well, as I found out from my family and from the doctors how I had been thrown from a Jeep and suffered what they call a traumatic brain injury, I was at peace with this. Everything was fine. I knew I was going to be fine. I always had been able to overcome adversity, and I had no reason to doubt it. So when everybody left the room, I tried to get up and go to the bathroom. I had to go to the bathroom terribly bad, but I was all alone, and I was paralyzed. The contusion to my right temple area created a lot of problems. Primarily, the right side of your brain controls the left side of your body. And the left side of my body was not functioning very well. Wasn't functioning at all. I was paralyzed on the left side. It's what they call a hemiplegic. Nothing worked. Couldn't stand up and walk because my left leg didn't work. Left arm didn't work. Facial muscles sagged on the left side of my body. Couldn't speak very well. So when I tried to get up, I wasn't trying to get up because I was trying to be obstinate and ridiculous. It was just what I knew I could do. I knew I could stand up and move. I just knew it. It took me a lot of time before I could roll over and stand up, try to stand up. As soon as I did, wham, I hit the floor like a wet sack of sand. Doctors, nurses came running into the room. What in the heck I was trying to do? You're paralyzed. You can't do that. Well, I knew I could. So I kept trying. The doctors got frustrated, exasperated with me because I kept falling down. Said, "You're going to hurt yourself. You can't do this. Don't try." But I knew I could, and I kept trying. See, God gives you the ability to do whatever you need to do. I mean, it says in Luke 12, verse 32 of the Bible, it is a Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Everything I ever needed was right here within me, available to me, available to you. Everybody has access to this amazing power, this ability. So I was trusting this, even though I was agnostic at the time. I had moved away from the Baptist church because what I was hearing was this precocious God that was going to cast me out to eternal damnation if I didn't accept these certain beliefs and tenets of their faith. So I searched for the truth of God on my terms. Hadn't yet found it at the time of my traumatic brain injury. But I knew, I relied on this inner knowing. And this inner knowing was the power of God within me. So I trusted this knowing that I had. Now, when I could stand up, I had used the law of attraction to attract health and wholeness into my lifeless limbs. I was able to move my fingers a little, wiggle my toes, move my arm, move my leg a little bit. Then I could stand up. And boy, when I could stand up, the doctors thought, "Look at this guy. This is a miracle." I mean, he's paralyzed one day, and now he's standing up, moving around. Whoa. I didn't think it was a miracle. It was simply what I knew was possible.